Edmonton's Rock Station 106.5 The Buzz. IMSA Sports Car Weekend at Road America this weekend. That includes Saturday afternoon, the Road America 120 for the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. On the phone, the first ever female champion, the first ever back-to-back touring car champion, driver of the number 77 Brian Herta Otto Sport Hyundai. It is Taylor Hagler. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. All right, so how is the season going for you thus far?
It's definitely a learning season. We have a lot of new things this year. We got a brand new engineer, and I have a new co-driver, so it's definitely a big learning curve this year.
But back at Road America, for those who don't regularly follow sports car racing, what makes it a quote-unquote touring car?
So a touring car is going to be something that's front-wheel drive. So all of the cars in our class are front-wheel drive, and it's also a car that basically comes from a regular production vehicle. So our Hyundai Elantra N TCR is not much different from the regular street Elantra N.
All right, but I'm sure some, moderately important changes between the Hyundai that you drive to the track in and the Hyundai you drive on the track.
Well, definitely for me, because I drive a Palisade at home, so I would hope there's a very large amount of difference. But yeah, a lot of the main differences is kind of the engine. Obviously, it's a race engine. We can't do anything to our engines either. They come from the factory in Germany already pretty much sealed up. And then our brakes are different. The car is obviously gutted. So we have the full roll cage, different seats. And then I think just body work really after that, for the most part. After that, it's just body work for the downforce and aero.
So pretty close to what would actually be on the, I've always wondered, how close is it to you could drive it to the track. But talking with Taylor Hagler, driver of the number 77 Brian Herta Auto Sport Hyundai for IMSA this weekend. So how tough of a boss is Brian Herta? He seems kind of a tough guy on TV.
He can be. That's definitely to say he can be. He's pretty cool to be around, actually, for the most part, unless, you do something to get on his bad side, which luckily I haven't so far. So he's always been pretty nice to me. We definitely still have our rules as a team that we have to follow. If you don't follow those, you get the wrath of Brian. Otherwise, he's pretty supportive of everybody, and he's really great to be around. He's good to kind of pick his brain. Obviously, he's very, very knowledgeable, and he always just kind of goes for the best. So it's kind of one of those things of knowing, if you're on the team for Brian Herta, you're one of the better drivers, and you kind of deserve to be there because he doesn't sign anybody just for signing them.
Absolutely correct. All right, so Road America this weekend. You've been here a couple of times before. What is the key to a good lap at Road America?
Ooh, Road America is such a tough one. Especially, there's so many straightaways, and a lot of the corners, it's so many different type of corners, from just very straightforward corners to a little bit more technical. I think the key at Road America, especially now that it's been repaved, if you go offline now with the new pavement, the track's pretty slick, so you're going to go off. So now, the key is pretty much just following the line, and the braking zones are massive here. If you brake too late, you're not going to make the corner. Whereas other tracks, it's a little bit more forgiving. This one, you just have to be very, very on top of it, very precise. There's no room for error at this track.
So what do you think is the best thing about Road America, and what do you think is the worst thing about Road America?
For me, one of the best things is I really like the area. And I'm a Green Bay fan, so usually I go up to Lambeau Field. So I like the area to begin with. I like the fans. I've met a lot of really cool fans at Road America, even ones that have been there for IMSA and SRO weekends. I've met both, and they're all really cool. I really enjoy that. And I like the track. I like the technicality of the track. The thing I don't like about Road America is I'm just not a fan of long straightaways.
Oh, okay.
That's the only downfall for me. I'm not a fan of long straightaways. I never have been.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll toss in some chicanes for the next time around. How about that? All right.
Perfect.
Now, you, of course, part of a team that drives together. How do you and your teammate decide who takes the first stint during the race and who takes the second stint? Is it coin flip or rock, paper, scissors, or how does it go?
That actually comes from well above our head.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes it's kind of weekend dependent. It'll be dependent on, the first race that I did with my current co-driver, Bryson, was the one he took over for Michael Lewis last year in Atlanta. And with it being his first race, he qualified and I finished. Usually this year, I think we've only done one race where he qualified so far this year. And that was the 4-hour at Mid-Ohio. But as of right now, this is kind of how it's working really good for us. Usually I go in and set the car up for the most part and get the car brought back. It's kind of one of those things where, like, some people say that the more experienced driver finishes and some say that the more experienced drivers start. It's just very dependent on the drivers. I feel like one of my specialties is making sure to bring the car back in one piece, which is very important.
I would say that is important.
Saving. So I can usually bring the car back in like a good spot, no damage, and like get us out pretty quick because of the amount of fuel that I had saved. So we usually have good pit stops because of that, to whereas Bryson's a little bit more new on those type of things. So I think mostly just because we didn't want to have any risks taken. I'm not entirely sure how that has been decided. I don't question Brian. I just say yes, sir.
That sounds like a pretty good move. All right, so IMSA weekend going on at Road America. Now, if you were watching rather than driving, where at the track do you think you would go sit?
I really like to go watch from Canada Corner.
Canada Corner. All righty. Well, we'll get you a Colt Labatt's. And how many bratwursts do you think you're good for this weekend?
Oh, maybe 2.
Just 2? Come on. Now, that's perfectly acceptable. I mean, well, you got to drive the car, so. All right, Taylor Hagler, if people want to follow you on socials, where do they head to?
Yeah, so we are on Twitter, TikTok. We don't really post much on TikTok, but you can. Facebook and Instagram, all as Taylor Hagler Motorsport.
All right, and people should be looking for that bright blue 77 in the paddock this weekend?
They definitely should.
All righty. Well, thanks for taking the time today, and good luck.
Thank you.
And there you are, back-to-back touring car champ for the Michelin Pilot Challenge, Taylor Hagler. Of course, IMSA Sports Car Weekend this weekend at Road America. You can go to roadamerica.com for tickets, details, and all that good stuff. Non-stop rock on the way.